Hi everybody, this is Mr. RV. I'm going to show you how to use one-point perspective to make a simple landscape of a road going back, far away, and a few other details. Here's how it'll go. We're going to start by creating a horizon line, and I'm putting mine about, maybe a third of the way from the top. This doesn't have to be exact. And I could put it just about anywhere, but I want to leave some room above for the sky and some room below for the ground. My horizon line will be horizontal. I'm pretty sure the word horizontal means like the horizon going side to side. So there's my horizontal horizon line. I need to add a vanishing point, and for today, I'm actually going to put that somewhere close to the middle. Doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, but I'm going to put one in the middle. I'm only going to use one vanishing point today, and that's why we will call this one-point perspective. There's also two-point perspective, three-point perspective, and even more. I've never used more than two-point perspective myself, but they do seem pretty interesting. We might have to explore that sometime. All right, now I have my dot on my horizon. So far, all I've decided is I've divided the sky above the horizon line from the ground below the horizon line. Everything below this is on or near the ground. Everything above this must be up in the air. If it's up in the air, we'll tend to see the bottom of it. Think the bottom of clouds, the bottom of airplanes flying by. Things below we might see would be, we'll see the top of boxes sitting on the ground, the top of our shoes as we look down at our feet, things like that. All right, let's start by just drawing a road. I'm going to make two dots at the bottom. One, and when I say at the bottom, notice they are on the bottom. And two. I made one a bit to the right of my dot, my vanishing point, and I made the other kind of to the left of my vanishing point. Now I'm going to connect them with my ruler if I want a really straight line, because I do get straighter lines when I use my straight edge. That will be my road. All right, let's add a few things to our drawing. Let's start with a line going down the middle of the road. I'm going to make two tiny dots in the right by the middle of the road. One, two. These are going to help me make the yellow lines going up the middle of the road. I would say mine are, at this scale, they're about, a pinky nail apart. Depending on how big your drawing is, you could change the size. The angles stay the same, but the size changes. Now I'm going to play connect the dot. I connect one of my new dots with the vanishing point, and the other dot with my new dot with my vanishing point. There we go. Notice how all these lines are converging or V'ing in, heading together at that vanishing point. They all seem to go back in space and then vanish at the vanishing point. If I want to make this a dotted line, I will need to add some horizontals to separate them. Here's how that works. Oops, let me do this way. I think it'll be easier to figure out what's going on. I'm going to add a little horizontal and then go up just a tiny bit and another one. I erase the diagonals that were in between, those vanishing lines. Then I go up again, but not quite so far. I add another dot line and another line, and I erase the two segments that are in the middle. My eraser just didn't want to stick just to the ones I wanted, so I had to redraw that. As I go towards the vanishing point, my dots gets shorter and shorter, and the spaces between them get shorter and shorter. Everything gets shorter and shorter. With perspective, what we're doing is we're making things get smaller and smaller as they go towards the vanishing point, and this mimics how in the real world it seems like things get smaller as they go back in space. Now, when a car drives away from us and it's gone far to the other end of the road, far to the other end of the street, it seems smaller. We know that it hasn't really changed size, it's just further away. So we're using that by making small, tiny cars if they're close to the horizon line, and bigger cars if they're down here near us. near us. And that makes the ones down here that are big seem like they're close, and the ones that are little up here seem further away. Well, I'm going to stop doing that for a bit so I can show you something else. But you can see how that could continue on. Eventually, you just have these get too tiny and they just sort of blur together. So, a few more and maybe I'd be okay. There we go. I think even that is kind of okay. It kind of fools the eye enough. Get your brain to accept the illusion. And that's really what we're doing. We're trying to get people to accept the illusion, to suspend disbelief. Just like in a good book of fiction. All right, let's get something on the side. I'm going to use this and make some trees. The first thing actually I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a tree over here. I'm going to make a smile for the bottom of the tree because I want a rounded trunk. Curved lines will describe a curved round trunk. I'm going to go up, up, and then I'm just going to make your basic fluffy tree. I can get rid of the line going through the middle of it because we don't see through the tree. So the overlapping has already helped our sense of space by getting rid of this bit of line in the middle. Now we want to use perspective to make it seem like there are other trees going back, 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 back. Here's how we'll do it. I want to know where the bottom of my next tree will be, so I'm going to put my pencil on the vanishing point, my ruler on the pencil, and I connect a line. That line will describe the bottom of trees. Then I want to know where the top of the tree trunks will be. So again, I connect a line from my vanishing point to the top of the trunk and on out. All the tree trunks will start down here and will end over here. No matter how far away they are. If I get down to here, I notice that I can see the top of the tree trunk. The bottom of the tree trunk is now off the page. I do need to make sure that I keep a vertical axis to it. Otherwise my trees will start to look like they're leaning over. That's a little better. All right, so we have the tree trunks, but where did the foliage go? Where does it end? We want to make them consistent. And to do that, I'm putting my pencil on my vanishing point, my ruler on my pencil, and I'm going to point up to the top of that tree until I touch the top of that tree, and up I go. Wow. Well, with this tiny tree, we go, oh, okay, it goes up to that new line. Don't get fooled by the horizon line. It goes up to our new line. That's the top of tree line. And the next one goes up to the top of tree line. Again, be careful that these stay upright. Don't let them slide to the side and go diagonal. Keep them upright. Each one. It's okay if they overlap. See how I'm just covering up some of the littler tree with the bigger, newer tree? That's because the bigger one is closer to us, so it hides the littler one. Stop. Skip, 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 skip. Draw, 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 draw. Over here, I'm going to get rid of all of that. I can get rid of that horizon line. Over here, when I'm drawing this tree in, again, it'll go off the page. Why? This line would go off the page. I mean, it would be way up here. The treetop would be somewhere up here. So I don't see the treetop. Don't draw what you don't see. That makes sense, right? I'm going to get rid of the last of that horizon line on this side because I really won't see it. Well, there's a line of trees going back. I don't want people to see my work line. They don't need to know how I figured out where the trees should stop and start. They can think I just naturally knew it with no learning and no help. Well, I can tell you, I would never have figured this out on my own. But once I got shown it, I tried it a couple times and was like, oh, that kind of makes sense now. And practice. Practice and a little help and support can make a big difference. You try things out, you see what happens, find out what goes wrong, and then figure out how to make it go right. All right. Other things I might add, I might want to add a little building over here. I'm going to start with just a basic square or rectangle. And I'm going to add a little pointed roof. Yeah, it's a house. Now I want to make it look three-dimensional. So I'm going to connect 1, 2, 3 points to the vanishing point. The reason is the house is to the right of my vanishing point, so I'll see the left-hand side going back in space. Let's see how that plays out. I put my pencil on the bottom corner, connect to the vanishing point. I put it at the bottom of the roof, connect to the vanishing point. The edge of the house, the edge of the building is a vertical, so I'm going to put that ruler over there as a vertical and slide towards the vanishing point. I have to decide how big my house is. And make a new vertical. These two lines should be parallel. They could go back and back and back and back and back and back in space and never meet, no matter how far they went. Just the opposite of our vanishing point lines, which all meet. Every vanishing line in this drawing meets right at that vanishing point. All right, I'm going to get rid of those extra bits of vanishing point because the only parts I want are the bottom and top of my new shape. I now want to get the roof in. I'm going to put my pencil on the top of the roof, connect it to the vanishing point. And now I need it to go there, but I want to get this line and this one need to be parallel. So I'm going to put the ruler on the edge of the roof, slide back towards the vanishing point, and when I reach that other corner, I connect. Get rid of the extra. If I wanted another house, I could do that. I could make a whole series of houses. Here's the front roof, front edge. Notice I'm lining it up with this one. I'm saying that this is a very orderly neighborhood. All the roofs and all the walls line up. I'm not sure I'd like to live in such an orderly neighborhood, but it is sort of fun to draw. Well, there's the top and bottom of our first house. The top and bottom of our next house have to be there. Just like the sides were vertical, vertical. I'm just going to add some verticals here. Vertical, vertical. Get rid of all the extra. Did you notice that the new one is much smaller than the first one? That's because those lines that we created are all converging on the vanishing point. It helps us get things to get gradually smaller and smaller as they go towards the vanishing point. And that's really what creates the illusion. With horizontal top and bottom, vertical sides. Well, I know where the roof, I can get the roof by lining up with the vanishing point and the other roof. So I know from the middle point there, I need to come up. Oops, I think I went not diagonal enough. That's because I cheated and I didn't use my lines. There you go. Using your lines really makes a difference. Otherwise, things don't always come out right. Well, there's a little house. And again, one of the basic ideas of perspective is objects that are similar size appear to get smaller as they go back in space. So, if we make similar objects like these two houses and have one bigger and further away from the vanishing point, then the little one seems like it's further away. Our brains start to accept that somehow this piece of road is further away from us than this, that this little tree must be further away from us than this big tree, even though we know it's just a piece of paper. I'm going to add some little mountains here. Oh, what a pretty area. There's the sun shining in the sky. A little cloud drifting over. And hey, do you want to know how to do doors and windows? On the side that faces me, see the side that's a perfect rectangle? Very simple. Doesn't change from those first ones we drew with plain old rectangle. There's the doorknob. Square for the window. Oops, squares for the windows. Now on this side, the side that had the slanted, that had the vanishing lines, well, the windows stay vertical on the sides. But the lines that connect them top and bottom, just like on the wall, if the wall had to go to the vanishing point, like this did, then that's going to be true for any windows or doors on that side of the house. There we go. Just that. And there's our window. Not only will it be true of the windows, but if you're putting in mullions, those are those little pieces of wood that sometimes go across the middle of a window, the mullions need to follow perspective too. The verticals will stay vertical, but on this side of the house, the horizontals now point towards the vanishing point. Well, there are some little tricks for making some perspective. I hope you have fun with it. And enjoy your drawing, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.